Hello Nerdaholics, welcome back. Unfortunately Sean isn't with me this time. Um, yes, it's kind of...
Let's go back to the city.
Shut up, Daxter. Right, just in brief, because just for those who weren't aware, part 1 went up a couple of weeks ago for this one. Game went up before actually the finale of Precursor Legacy, Jak II came out, in terms of just how the timing worked out. That's just because Sean came over, we had a little bit of drink, and it's kind of, I'd finished most of what I was doing at that point, and it's just kind of like, you know what it's like, you have friends over, you just drink a bit too much, have a bit of fun, and it's like, look, here we are going back. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go back into the city, because we've been told to by Daxter, thank you.
I think we need to go back to the city, Jak.
Thanks, Daxter, just said that. And here we go. So, there's not really a lot to cover from the first part that we didn't really cover anything. But one thing I will say is kind of, obviously this game is noticeably different, that we did talk about. Now, the reason it's different, this is just my understanding of the situation, based on hearsay and a few things that I've read rather than anything specific, so please correct me if I'm wrong, was that the guys at Naughty Dog, they basically, Ratchet and Clank came out, and then when they came out to make, and so they basically thought, okay, let's make something that's just going to be popular. So they took the things that were popular from other games at the time, and threw it all together, and made this. So that's why you've got elements of GTA, elements of Ratchet and Clank, elements from Jak and Daxter, obviously, and a few elements of things like Tony Hawk Pro Skater with those bits and pieces in there. There we go, let's go and get this cutscene, and we'll talk a bit more afterwards.
Woo! Being a big hero sure makes you thirsty.
The Baron turned off all water to the slums. He's willing to sacrifice innocent lives just to destroy the underground. I shouldn't be surprised. I've seen his evil before, while serving in the Crimson Guard. That's why I quit.
You were a Crimson Guard? Oh, that explains your charming sense of humor.
My friend in the Guard tells me the valve to turn the water back on is located outside the city, at the pumping station.
Outside the city? What about the security walls?
What about the metalheads? It ain't no petting zoo out there. Peeps be getting deep-sixed.
Find the large drain pipe in the north wall. It'll take you outside the city to the pumping station. Get to the main valve and open it. If you survive, the slums will be indebted to you. If not, maybe we'll have a touching moment of silence in your honor.
I'd like to give him a touching moment.
Okay, so the first things first, with this game and how it's set up, the first game was obviously set up so that you could kind of, it was basically one big world, and you can go from one side of it to the other without really doing anything. Well, obviously you just do the travelling, you just walk from one side to the other. You have to do like the zoomer bits, look through Fire Canyon, Mountain Pass and the Lava Tube. But to be honest, they were never really that taxing, they were what they were. And that's fine, that's good. But you know, they weren't anything that special. And ultimately it's a case of once you go through, ultimately the point is you can go from one side of the world, there's no loading screens, which is awesome. Now this game is very similar, in that you can basically see everything. I think there's only one location that you can't see and get to by walking or travel. I think everywhere else you can get to, and that's the drill platform. But everything else, actually no, the strip mine you have to use a teleport. You have to use a teleport to get to. But everything else you can get to, and what we'll do is once we get to a certain point, either afterwards I will show it off just so you can see, because you need to have the hoverboard to do it. But you can get basically everywhere once you have the right kit. Now, obviously, then before everything was very much based on these are little happy elf people doing happy elf things in a happy elf world. Now,
Those are metalheads!
now they've gone to Mega City 1 and are dealing with metalheads. Now, this is what I said before, that the game has little to nothing to do. The first game has little to nothing to do with this. Because, ultimately... Actually, can you see it from here? No, not from here. But, later sections of the game are basically just over there. But you can't see it from here, not at this point. Now. I've been up here, yeah, have I? No, so. Yeah, okay. So, where was I? What was I saying? Curses, I don't know. Sorry, yeah, we were talking about everything's basically stuck in Mega City 1 now. And that is almost exactly what this is. This is basically Mega City 1. For those who don't know what that is, go and read Judge Dredd, or watch one of the Judge Dredd movies. Either's good. Sylvester Stallone one is a bit cheesy, but always a bit of a laugh if you have a drink or two. The Carl Urban one, in my opinion, is better. Not as cheesy, not as fun, but it's a lot more serious, a bit more comics accurate, and generally a bit more badass because of it. And it has the best use of slow motion I've ever seen in a movie. But you know, no spoilers on it, just watch the movie. Plugging that movie now. Dread. Dun, 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 dun. I don't think they're ever going to make a Dread 2, but you know, it'd be cool if they did. Anyways, but now you see, the reason that first game doesn't really relate, because it's kind of, none of these creatures were in the first game. Metalheads, these little wormy things, the lizardy things that shoot their tongues at you, none of them were in the first game. And there's no references to any of them in the first game. You know, there's no references to anything. There's no references to anything from the first game left at all, really, other than the four characters: Jack, Kira, Samos, and Daxter. And you know, one location, which we won't spoil now, but we will show when we get there. Not that you can really spoil a game from 2003, but you know, or early 2000s. You know, it's a long old time ago. But ultimately, yeah. So, jump across, jump. But yeah, and beyond that, there's no real connection to previous stuff. And, you know, while that can be good or bad, it depends on your own real perspective. And what I'm going to do is, my little plan I have at the moment is once I've done, once I finish this game, and we're on to, actually that's it, that's what I was going to talk about. Right, once you have the hoverboard, you can come back here, you can go across there, you go through there, that brings you out at the bomb site. The weapons centre as well as the dig site. So you can just travel there without even having to go on, because there's there's a ship that will take you there. But you don't have to use it. You can just go. Oh shit! No, nearly fell off. But you can just use that and go there that way, which is really awesome. Can I get a better angle on it from here? I should be able to in a sec. Let's kill these. Punch. Fist. Fist. Yeah. There you can see that's the weapons plant, and that is where you have a boss fight towards the very end of the game. On top of that, which we'll see at some point. Depends on how quick we get there. And at this point, I think
The valve. Allow me.
the first Precursor's Legacy game, that I think is about 11 parts for the gameplay, and 12 parts if you include the finale review, and my fails video, which I don't know if that'll be up by the time you see this, mainly because editing it is a nightmare, trying to find clips that are actually quite fun and quite good to watch, because, you know, I want to put something together that someone's actually going to want to watch, rather than me just missing some jumps. It'd be like, let's guess, like, oh, come on, and hear me rage a little bit.
Don't say it. Don't even chuckle. Next time, you turn the valve.
You got sucked in a pipe. Right. Jump. Jump. In terms of this playthrough, we're not going to bother with precursor orbs. I mean, we'll see how everything works out for the long run, but I'm not planning on collecting them. Mainly because it's a bit... It's not that it's too much effort, it's just it's kind of... I'm probably going to use the glitch to kind of get all 200 of them for the trophy, but I'll do that off camera. Actually, let's run across here for a moment just so we can get a bit of a view of what this world is like. Because I will probably need to use the infinite ammo cheat to fight the final boss, because I don't think I've ever beaten it out having that on. I can't do it. The controls just aren't good enough, and I'm just not good enough to do it. And I don't really have the time or the energy to spend hours and hours and hours like redoing that same fight again and again and again. It's like the final boss fight from Precursor's Legacy. That I had about 8-9 attempts at. I cut out a few of them. A few of the funnier ones I will be in the fails video, but there's no point you guys watching me like fight the same boss like 6 or 7 times. And I know I could beat that one fairly easily. I mean, the fact that I messed up a few times is just my own stupidity.
Greetings, great warrior. I sense there is a dark rage burning within you, and in time it will destroy you with its madness. Only the last power of the precursors can save you. Destroy my enemies, those creatures you call the metalheads. Bring me 25 of their skull gems, and I will teach you how to control these powers.
Well, it's nice to know that the precursors are still doing well with their shrines. Not giving power cells this time. Okay, can I depower from that, or... Okay, so this is...
You do not have enough skull gems. Come back when you have collected more.
Okay. Right. Well, let's just run around like this for a bit then. Okay. So this is... That was Dark Jak. That is the combat heavy variant. So when you're doing the more fighting bits and pieces, you can use that. I tend to save him for a couple of set pieces, mainly because I think it looks cool to use the dark bomb in a couple of places, which is one of the powers you get later on for it. And you know, beyond that, it's well, he's not that versatile. Once you get some of the guns up, the blaster, the Vulcan, and specifically the Peacemaker, there is a strategy that I'll be demonstrating. You'll probably see me use it quite a bit for how to basically curb stomp the fights in this game. Okay, so this area we've just run through, this is the water slums. Let's do a quick. It looks like a shithole, and it's meant to, because these are slums built over rickety bridges over the bloody water. And this is the normal slums we're going to start to run through now. This is built on actual concrete with like messed up floor because it's really not being looked after. And it's interesting because when you get into, well, we'll have a little chat about how this city develops and grows when we get into Jak III, because that's where it becomes more relevant. But for now, it's kind of just seeing that this place, your first exposure to Haven is the slums, and it's to demonstrate the fact that this place is a shithole. Now, the one thing that does bother me about this... Okay. One thing that bothers me about this, and this is something that they fixed a little bit with the PSP Daxter game, which I won't be playing, mainly because I don't have access to it to put through onto the channel. If I do get hold of it or get a version of it that I can put up on the channel, then I will, because I did enjoy that game. It was quite fun. But the problem here with this is that this game, basically everything feels so dead and lifeless. You've got lots of people walking around, which is pretty cool actually, because for a game in the PlayStation 2 era, something like this, while not unheard of, and you had GTA knocking around, and it's kind of, the thing is, the difference between that is things like Vice City, specifically San Andreas actually, those cities felt alive, because even though they had people walking around, you could walk into shops, you could walk into you could go into shops, you could go into barbers and gyms. All these places had different sort of fronts, different sort of shop fronts and bits and pieces, so they looked and felt different and unique.
Have faith in me, and the promised land is yours. Your city needs a strong leader, not a childish fool. Welcome not the unknown face. Shun those who would defy me.
I like the propaganda. Right, so yeah, so it's kind of like, if you change some of these fronts, now I get with the slums you probably couldn't do it, but you could put, I mean look, you got, where is it? There was a barrel over there somewhere. But if you just, yeah, there's a,
Roger, continue our sweep.
okay, I can't see it, but there was like a flaming barrel somewhere that I think we walked past. You stick a load more of those in there, have a few of these people not be walking around so much, or at least come up with a few people that look like they're from different areas. You know, water slums people, normal slums people.
The slums water is back on. I'd love to see their heads roll when the Baron finds out.
Yeah, I'm sure he's losing lots of sleep over this armpit of the city. We've done what you've asked. Now when do we see the shadow?
When I say so, if I say so. But before I even think about it, I want you to take care of an ammo dump we've ID'd in the fortress. Lots of Crimson Guards, constant patrols. We know it's vulnerable, and the underground needs you to blow up all the ammo you find inside. Get all of it, and we'll deal a body blow to the Baron.
You're sending us in, tough guy. So what's with this wheel dealer body blow stuff?
That's fine. I want the Baron to know that it's me who's hurting him.
Okay, cool. Right. The only missions so far, as you can see, are very much a harken back to the stuff you would have done in Precursor Legacy, to kind of ease you in a little bit, which is nice actually, because it's kind of, there is a lot of big changes in it when you compare like this game to Precursor Legacy, or Jak I, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of, so having it be something that you can, that's like still plays in a similar enough way, even with a few extra bits like the hover cars and all that. Having a lot of the mechanics be the same. Oh, here we go. Is that moving already? It's just moving very slowly. Well, let's grab that. Right. Well, let's go.
Unauthorized use of fortress door. Activating security tank.
Ah! Woo! Haha, you can't hit me for shit. Now this is the bit that bothers me, because I suck at this bit, because depth perception and trying to see those red lasers. No! Can't see them for shite. Ah! Whee! No! Right. See, things like that little spinny doohickey, you've dealt with a lot of those, especially in the bloody spider cave. Spider cave, where I couldn't find that one orb. No, I'm not letting it go. Over we go. No! I seem to be in trouble. Well, at least it's not impossible. If you fall down, you can just come back out. I think that's the first time I've ever fallen off of that. This is what happens when you're trying to concentrate and talk all at the same time. You can't really do both. I don't need to get stuff like that, and I don't think I actually needed any of it anyway. Oh, you pansy-ass tank. Pansy tank. There's a joke in there somewhere about, oh. What did... Oh, you... That's not cool. Because it's like... Oh. I think this is the first time I've ever had this many problems with just going through here. Shouldn't happen, but, you know, it has. Right. Because you're being such a prick tank, I'm going to take this a bit more slow. Kick your ass properly. There we go. See, now that I'm taking it a little bit more slow. We'll wait. We'll wait. You've got no time pressure. There we go. Take that, tank.
Yeah, me too. I get more comfort in the crotch.
That said, some of the platforming challenges in this are a little bit harder than the first game, which I kind of enjoy, because it's kind of like... The first game was nothing revolutionary, to be fair. But then it's like... I don't think I would have really cared if it... At least this kind of... And if you look at this as a kind of... If you look at this as kind of upping the ante, then it definitely works. They've taken what was there before and improved on it. Now, if you like the whole little fairy boy running around the happy woods with happy fairy elfy people, then, you know, cool. But, you know, you don't like it, it's also good. Because this is obviously quite different. Now... Whoa, shoot, a bit too quick. There we go, up we go. Ooh.
Cool, that's a security pass. We need those to get through city checkpoints.
These barrels are the latest shipment of eco. The Baron says take them and get out.
Metalheads in the city? Why are the guards giving them eco?
Now, is that the same tank or a different tank? I mean, from the looks of it, it's a different tank, but, you know.
That must be the ammo and missile Torn told us to blow up.
Warning, missile cooling systems damaged. Alert, backup cooling system failure. Emergency overrides initiated. Missile systems at critical overload. Failsafe not responding. Danger. Warhead
That was easy.
imminent.
Not really a boss fight, not really a challenge, but, you know. Slow motion hero jump.
This place has too much excitement. We need to move back to the country.
See, it's interesting that they think, at this point, they think they're just in a different part of the world, somewhere they've never seen before. Now, technology-wise, you know, you can tell that the cars are obviously a lot more advanced than like the A-Grav Zoomer. Precursor tech is still floating around, but not really as prevalent. But then, this is the weird thing, isn't it? That, you know, I mean, you would have thought that something like 2 years have passed. Okay, Jak was in prison for like most of those 2 years. Daxter was running around for 2 years, and you'll find out what happened to the other two as the game progresses. But ultimately, you think by now they would have worked out that, you know, at least Daxter may well have worked out that they're in the future. Oh shit, spoiler, sorry. Yeah, okay.
The demolition duo has returned. One barbecued ammo dump served up hot.
We saw something odd while torching that ammo. The Baron's guards were giving barrels filled with eco to a group of metalheads.
Really? The Shadow will be very interested to hear that.
You know, so far, your gigs have been easier than stealing grass from a sleeping yakko.
You and the rodent want to start proving yourselves? One of our suppliers needs his payment delivered. A bag of eco ore. Take the Zoomer parked out back and drive it to the Hip Hog Heaven Saloon in Southtown. Ask for Crew. He'll be there. And don't let the Baron's patrols stop you. By the way, when you get there, pump Crew for information. He's wired into the city and may know what the Baron is up to.
You can count on us.
Are you still here?
Okay, yeah, so hopefully I can edit that spoiler out. If not, sorry for the spoiler. But first, one thing I'll say, in terms of the cutscenes, and there weren't really lots of cutscenes at all in the first game. You got a few hidden around everywhere, and I deliberately went and tried to get a few of them. I probably missed a few. But then, okay, here we go, into the industrial section. But yeah, I deliberately tried to get a few bits and few of the cutscenes. Because, you know, because there's not really very many in the game, and it's worth having a few extras to watch and have a look at. Whereas this game, you get a cutscene for every mission, so it's a little bit, you know, I think this hits a nice balance because it's not quite a collectathon, but it is like a GTA collectathon. Here we go. Yeah, well, I think when I sort of the first roadblock, I kind of figured that. So we're now just coming out of the industrial section and heading to the docks. Now, like I said, I'm going to cut this game a lot of slack in terms of how things look. But after we get this cutscene, we'll take a walk and I'll show off what I mean, and that will be our ending point. I jumped a bit early there, but it still worked.
Let me handle this, Jak. Watch my finesse and style.
Don't forget to ask.
Everything's cool. Nobody panic. Hey, big guy. You crew? Well, we shook the heat, and your shipment's in primo condition.
That's good, eh? Because a cargo of rare eco ore is worth more than 10 of your lives. And of course, I'll be forced to collect slowly. The underground will take anyone with a pulse these days. And what we have here, the Shadow's mascot of the month. Ooh, soft. Zig, this fur would go well with my silk suit, eh?
Listen, tons of fun. Anyone can see that you, and I have the real juice in this burg. We're both players, right? We're both looking for a piece of the action, right? I think we can do business, right?
We did you a favor. Now it's your turn. Why is the Baron giving eco to metalheads?
Questions like that could get a person killed, eh? Zig, Pierre Capitan here and his friend, Bonus. If you want to see what that baby can do, try the gun course outside. Show me some skill with that hardware, and I'll hire you for a job or two, eh?
Right. Scattergun. So this is where things start to diverge. Because we now have, effectively... Get out of the way of this guy.
Nothing so far.
A shotgun. Space-age shotgun. Now... This is what I was gonna mention. So, obviously, like I said, I'm going to cut this game to slack because it's PlayStation 2 era. They can't do lots. But when you look at this... Goddamn camera. You've got one bar there, which is kind of where you're going to get some missions for crew. But you obviously got like the sign, you've got the lights, you've got a door underneath, it looks great. There is nothing else in that direction. And there is nothing in this direction either, except for the gun course we're about to go to. But this is it, look, there's wall, vents, wall, and vents. Now this is why I say the Daxter game actually did a bit to improve this, because what you've got as you go along, because the Daxter game, while on the PSP, is smaller and can't do as much. Now they only used sort of the dock and the industrial area really. They didn't go anywhere else. But they added extra things into there, so as you're walking around those areas, they actually felt more like they were alive. And like even like I was saying, this is kind of that's it. That's the only other door.
Sweeping for suspects.
And there's the hip hog, which is where we just came from. The gun course here. There is a door on one of those towers over there for a mission later on, but by the same token, it's just like, well, there's nothing there.
We need to teach you how to use this baby. The scatter gun is a good short-range weapon with a wide field of fire. To fire the weapon, press the trigger. Good. Some kick, huh? It's not the fastest firing weapon in the world. You can put your weapon away or pull it out at any time. Try putting the weapon away. Easy, huh? Now take the weapon back out. Good. You can find
I know how to do all this, so...
Crimson Guard crates. Shoot the crates. Great. Now you're ready. You want to try the scattergun course?
Oh, it's this way. Okay. Yeah, let's do the scattergun training.
Lock and load. Ready? Go. Shoot every target. The faster you shoot each target, the more points you'll get. Hold your fire on civvies. Hit a friendly target, and points will be deducted.
Bloody civilians shouldn't be in the way. I know you're really supposed to shoot them, but quite frankly, I just kick them. It's actually a little bit easier. I've only got to get to 3,000 points. Right, there we go. Did enough to finish it. We're not going to get to the 8,000. Come back here. Come on. There we go. Right, that was the gun course, so...
Care to try for the course record?
Nah, I'm alright. I'll put the gun away. So... let's steal this. One of the things that this game does that it doesn't actually tell you, that you can probably work out with through playing, is that all these vehicles have different resistances as well as different speeds. And obviously, like the motorbike ones are quicker, but they blow up after like 2 or 3 hits. Ones like this are a bit more resilient, but they don't move as quickly. And obviously, the bigger and bulkier you go, the slower and less effective they are. But rather than going in, I think now is a good place to call time, because we've done a few missions with this one today. Everything from coming back from Dead Town to getting this gas gun, which is kind of awesome. So, we shall save here. And upload this next in terms of actually as part of the schedule once we get past, once I finish uploading the last bits of the normal Jak and Daxter stuff. I'm assuming it's based on how these things get recorded and done, that they'll be, well, they're not up yet but at the time I'm recording, but they'll be up obviously by the time you see this. Haha, obviously enough. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice one and enjoy.